Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to talk about luck when it comes to investing. So a couple days ago, I came across a subscriber who said she's quite unlucky when she's investing in the market. And that really, resonated with me because when I first started out to learn how to invest, I thought I was unlucky too. And I actually thought I was cursed because every time I buy, the stock would go against me. Every time I sell, the stock will go back up. So for a period of time, I actually thought I was cursed, and my friends would actually bet against me and saying that would be a sure winning strategy. So, that was many years ago, and now obviously I've mastered investing and I know the truth behind luck. So, when people talk about luck, most people refer to kind of like a 50-50 chance. It's kind of like flipping a coin. It's kind of like going to the casino. It's kind of like gambling. So I do agree that there is an element of luck involved when you're investing in the market. But the key thing when it comes to investing, it's all about time frame. For myself, I have been a day trader, a short-term trader, a swing trader, and a long-term investor. So I have pretty much tried and tested all the time frames there are. And when you zoom into the market, like a 1-minute chart, 5-minute, 50 minutes, 60 minutes, or 4 hours, the chances of you winning or losing without an investing strategy is actually 50-50. Slightly less than 50 to be very precise. And when you're investing using a short-term time frame, it just feels like you're in a casino. If you're a day trader, you would probably know what I mean because you're trying to place so many trades that you know that given 10 or 100 trades, there are going to be a certain amount of losers. Now, the number of losers is going to mainly depend on your risk to reward ratio. I have another video on that. But if your risk to reward ratio is approximately 1-to-1, then your odds of winning and losing is also around 50-50. So you can see that depending on your risk to reward ratio, you can kind of design your own casino game. And that's how I used to think. And when you're investing in the market, it's easy to fall into the trap that it is out of your control and that is mostly based on luck. And that's really where people have a gambling addiction can cause huge problems when investing into the market. And after around 6-7 years of testing, I finally figured out a strategy that works very well for me, which is being a long-term investor. Now, if you think you are unlucky, here are a couple of reasons that might help you out. Now, the first one is you're looking too closely at the market. And we just covered that. And if you're using a time frame that is below the daily chart, you are looking at the markets too closely. For myself, personally, I use the weekly charts. I don't even go into the daily charts unless I necessarily have to. But I use the weekly chart, and my target return is 30%. So it is totally possible to get 30% return with weekly charts. So you don't need to day trade. You don't need to short-term trade. You don't need to be glued to the computer every hour of the day. Now, if you feel like you're unlucky, the second reason might be you're focusing on the wrong stocks. Now, in the stock market, there's 4,000 stocks in Toronto and New York Stock Exchange combined, and you can invest from blue chip companies like Starbucks all the way to penny stocks. So depending on the kind of stocks you're investing in, you can either feel like it is predictable, it is going up consistently, or you are investing in like a tornado or a roller coaster and that the market just goes up and down by such a high amount every single day that you feel lost and confused. And during the coronavirus, as I'm recording this video for you, a lot of people are going to get confused by the amount of volatility in the market. One day it will go up by 10%, and the next day it will go up by 2%, and the next day it will go down by 10%. So you see, this range, plus or minus 10-20% within a day can be quite exhausting for people. And if you are looking at a short time frame, then it's very easy to think that you are unlucky. But if you take a step back and you focus on the long-term time frame, then suddenly everything falls into place. So if you focus on riskier stocks, such as penny stocks, small caps, then that might be another reason why you're feeling unlucky. Now, the third tip is really you focus on stocks that you don't know well. And this is quite counterintuitive because a lot of people suggest you to do research from the ground up. A lot of people suggest you to filter the markets based on some sort of PE ratio or PS ratio or some sort of debt to equity ratio, so then you find good stocks. Now, the biggest problem with this approach is that a good stock to me is not the same as a good stock to you. For example, I have a very strong accounting and technology background, so I know technology stocks quite well. And I will be very comfortable investing in technology stocks, which I know some other students or some other people will not feel so comfortable in. And in my program, I have doctors, I have engineers, I have accountants. And for example, doctors will be looking at biomedical stocks. They'll look at stocks that make drugs. And for them, these are kind of straightforward, intuitive stocks that they can invest in and take advantage of if they know how to do proper research. So when you are thinking about investing in the stock markets, you really want to know what is your advantage. What do you do for a living? Like, how does what you do for a living lead you to find great companies to invest in? So you want to use that to your advantage, because when you do that, you're going to be miles ahead of other investors who don't. And whether you know it or not, the stock market is very competitive, especially for beginners, because there are some seasoned professionals who have a lot more information than the rest of us, and they can take advantage of these opportunities with teams and teams of analysts doing research day in and day out. So as a solo investor, if you want to get ahead of this game per se, then you need to focus on where your edge is. So that's why I don't invest in stocks that I don't know, and that's actually very similar to one of Warren Buffett's rule. So those are the 3 tips for if you are feeling unlucky in the market. Remember, when you master investing, when you have a good approach to investing, then you wouldn't feel unlucky anymore, because you realize that you actually have a lot of control over what you're investing in, what your investing style is, how long you hold it for, how do you manage your risk, when you should enter, how you should enter, should you use options to multiply your profits. All these are elements that is within your control. And I think that there is an element of unpredictability in the market. You don't know exactly when it is going to go up. You don't know exactly when it is going to go down. But if you zoom out and you look at the big picture, then you suddenly realize there's actually a lot of elements you can control. So that's pretty much it for this video. My name is Eric Seto, and my goal is really to help people without a financial background to master investing and target a 30% return using an hour a week. So if that's something you're interested in, you can watch the free case study I have below called the free webinar, How to Get 30% from the Market. So this is quite a long webinar, and I packed a lot of value in it. So if that's something you're interested in, you can click the link below, type in your email address, and I'll see you inside. And if you think you want to learn more and join the program, Investing Accelerator, you can also schedule a call with me, and we'll have a chat on whether you are a good fit. So that's pretty much it. If you are feeling unlucky in the market or you're feeling down, don't, because once you master investing, once you have a solid strategy, you will feel like luck is on your side. I'll see you next time. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Please help support me by subscribe, and you can watch the next recommended video here as well. So I'll see you in the next one.